Hey, what's up, guys? I think we're going to have an update here. It's good news. It looks like some of the lychee tomatoes are ready. So let's take a look at what's on the vine. And I'm going to pick them and I'm going to bring them up on my deck and we'll finish the review up there. I'm not going to taste it here because I really want to save the seeds from these things and grow them next year. But I wanted to show you in the greenhouse a little update on the lychee tomato as well as the lychee tomatoes that are ready to be picked. What they look like on the vine. Now, you might not see this on a lot of other places because they never show it. I don't know why, but I've never seen any videos or information about the lychee tomato. Maybe I didn't search hard enough, I don't know. But I figured I'd provide you with a little bit more of a view and some data on the lychee tomato, what it looks like as it's ripe, and there's all the stages of it, and we'll bring them up and give them a taste test. So let me turn you around. Okay, so these are the lychee tomatoes. These are the nice ripe ones. Okay, some of them ain't ripe yet. You can see they're kind of not green anymore, but they're turning. And obviously, these are the ripe ones. Unripe ones, I'm sorry. Unripe. There's another unripe one. And here's a ripe one here. Okay. And you can see the plant is still growing. It's still putting out flowers. It appears that the fruit is getting smaller in age as it's getting closer towards the winter. As the light seems like it decreases, the fruit might get smaller. I don't know. These are the first bracts that are actually ready. And these took a while to get ripe. They took a while. They didn't ripen right away. And so I should, from what I can see on here, I should be getting a bunch more of these lychee tomatoes off of here. I don't think any fell yet. I have some more on the other side. Let's grab you and run you around here. Oh, gosh, it's not so hot in here anymore, thank God. Yeah, see, we have a few more here that are ripening up. I'm going to pick these and bring them up. And you can see the stem on the lychee tomato. No, that's not the lychee tomato. That's a regular. See, lychee tomato looks very much like a regular tomato plant. It's really hard to tell the difference. See, this is the stem on the lychee tomato. You can see there's quite a few spines on there. It's a very nasty plant. It's not something you want to just grab with your hand and pull it out. I guarantee you, you will have a bad day. So it is spiny. It's not as spiny as the Naranjilla, but nevertheless, it is spiny. See, I have some more lychees here. They're all around inside and mixed around here. They really look like cherry tomatoes once that husk peels back like this. It's kind of hard to notice them. They look like these things, you know. I got these things all over the place, but they're in there. There's some around, you know. I think there's one over there. They're around. Just got to look for them, and I want to get them before they fall, because if I don't, you know what's going to happen. You're going to hear me complain about these things because they're going to become invasive. And that's the way things are around here. Invasive. So let me pick these off and then I'll bring you up on the top of the deck and we'll do a taste test on these. Alright, I'll cut them open and let you see what they look like. I'll see you on the deck. Okay, so here we are up on the deck, and you can see I picked a few of them. There's quite a few more left as I look through the area. There's quite a bit more. So they're going to take time to ripen. I don't think those fruits are going to get quite as big as, say, this is. This is nice and large, as you can see. This is very big. It's probably the size of a cherry tomato. Here's like probably an average size one, maybe like that. Would be more probably average size. So I can't say that they're all going to get this big. Maybe if you let the plant fully grow itself out, you'll probably end up with tons of them this size. A lot of people's complaint was they have to peel this husk back, and they don't like to have to handle the spine. So as I was going through it, some of them tend to be very spiny like this. Okay, you see those thorns? That could be very unpleasant to try to take off of this plant. But I don't see the complaint because it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, so the plant automatically peels itself back like this, exposing the fruit. This is not going to be difficult for me to remove from this very spiny capsule around it. Okay, so I don't know why people were complaining. You're supposed to wait until the fruit gets like this before you eat it. You don't want to eat it before that. You don't want to eat it when it looks like this. Okay, so a lot of people were complaining that they had to use pliers or something to get the husks off them. I don't know what they're talking about or what they were growing, but as you can see here, I am not experiencing what some people were complaining about. The husk peeled itself back, it exposed the berry 100%, and now I am going to remove the berry for you on camera. And it is simply that easy. Okay, a little bit of detritus on there. I'm not sure what that is. We'll just scrape that off. Okay, now this is the berry. And I'm going to cut this one in half for you. And this is the inside of it, as you can see. All right. I can't tell, the sunlight is really bright here, so I don't know if you can really see this. I'm holding it like on an angle so I can see it with the sun. But that's what it looks like on the inside. It's almost like a tomatillo. It's got a lot of seeds on it. There's a lot of seeds in this thing. A real lot of them. In fact, this whole inside of it is seeds, and you're left with you just squeeze them a little bit like that. I'm going to end up saving these seeds, so. Alright, I'm going to taste it right now. Okay. Very quick, instant flavor. Has an interesting floral taste. A tropical type of fruity taste to it. Got to get the seeds out because the seeds are really crunchy when you eat this thing. That was a real ripe one. I'm going to try cutting this one open. It has a nice flavor to it. Almost like a guava or something like that. Very light though. It's not very strong flavor. Very light, kind of a fruity flavor. It's got a little bit of like a tomato-y taste behind it, if that makes any sense. It doesn't taste like tomato, but tomato kind of has that little tangy flavor that kind of wants to linger in your mouth. And it's kind of a little bit tasting like a tomato. But it's sweet, kind of like a guava. That might be the reason why they refer to this as a lychee tomato. It might be because that sweet part tastes like lychee, which I never had a lychee. And the tomatoey part tastes like kind of like a sour, not soury, but tangy type tomato, very slightly, and the flavors blend pretty smoothly. It's a very nice, pleasant experience. And I'll open this one up. Oh, I got spined from the husk. All right, this one's proven to be a little bit more difficult. So you really want to wait till these ripen and these husks really dry up and pull back. Like this one's nowhere near ready, so I'm going to leave these out to ripen. But I'm going to cut this open, take another look, and I'm going to save the seeds, and I'm going to eat this. It really does have an interesting flavor, this thing. It's a very nice, sweet flavor. It's just like a tomato in a lot of ways. I could see why they call it a lychee tomato. Ooh, all its guts came out. Very interesting. You don't have to worry about taking the seeds out, by the way. It's just I'm trying to save these. I mean, you can see how many came out of that one thing. I'm trying to save them, so that's why I'm doing it. But very interesting flavor. You'd have to try one for yourself. It's not dry or anything. It's kind of juicy, as you could see. I squeezed it and it's kind of juicy. The sweet part is very light for some reason. I had cheated and I had one of these earlier the other day. And I ate it just straight off the vine. I didn't squeeze seeds out of it or nothing. Just picked it. It was about this size and everything. I picked it and I ate it. And it was a lot sweeter than what I'm eating right now. I think as they ripen more, the sweetness converts over to that tomatoey type flavor. It gets really light, and the tomatoey flavor seems to take over and become predominant as far as the taste on this. But nevertheless, it still has a sweet flavor. You can try it probably in different stages. I bet you if I eat this one, it'll probably taste more like a sweet, the mango or the guava or something like that. It's got an interesting tropical fruity flavor to it. It's just quite an interesting thing to eat. So my opinion is, if you're looking to grow something different, find a spot in your yard where it's not going to be too much trouble for you to grow, and maybe in a corner of your garden, grow a couple of these. They grow like a vine, just like a tomato. It grows exactly like a tomato. It's a little sensitive to conditions in the beginning, like too much direct sunlight straight off. It doesn't like it. The leaves wilted right away. It was affected by a type of mold or something, or a fungus or something that affects the tomatillo type plants and those kind of plants. It got on here and it was the same effect. So those are the only plants I've ever seen get that. And so this plant was a little susceptible to it. It did wilt a few times, looked like it was going to die because of either too much water or too much light. You have to really play with this plant a little bit to dial it in. This is a tropical plant. So fool around with it. Start about, a dozen plants and grow all of them in different conditions that you think is going to work for it, because some are going to live and some are going to die because of those changes. All right, so you can put some in full sun, some in morning sun, some in afternoon sun, that kind of stuff. You got to fool around with it. But nevertheless, this plant will grow. It will give you lychee tomatoes, and you are going to want to probably give it a little fertilizer if you don't have your own homemade recipe for compost and for organic fertilizers. You may want to substitute and use your own fertilizer, and give it plenty of Epsom salt. I notice it likes Epsom salt. I add a couple of teaspoons, maybe 3 teaspoons to a 2-gallon jug, and I give that to it anywhere between once to sometimes twice a week, depending on at the growth level of the plant. If the plant's growing very aggressive, I may give it Epsom salt twice a week. All right, you just mix it in water, let it sit for about a half hour. You stir it around and then water them. Don't overwater it, but just give them a good dose of that twice a week. You'll be fine. You won't burn them or nothing. All right, so that's your lychee tomato. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one.